do think that the opportunity for a deeper, meaningful transformation is becoming available to you.
Mm-hmm.
And
Step
to
into it.
leverage that. Yes, yes, really lean into it and leverage it as much as possible because it is hard. And if it's hard and you're going to have to do it anyway, you might as well make it really worthwhile, right?
Yeah, make it good.
Yeah, yeah, I know that's not what your question was really, but I
No, but
kind
I
of feel
love
like,
that. And it comes back to that hopeful opportunity piece of like, this is happening for a reason, and it could be a point of transformation, not
Mhm.
just a struggle or a painful period.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely. So, in terms of physical comfort, number
Hmm.
one, always with sensitive people is sleep. Protect your
Yes.
sleep. Number
Yes.
one, there
Thousand
are
percent.
herbs. Yes, there are herbs that help to support progesterone. Um, I get a little bit nervous recommending herbs because you just don't
Hmm.
know people's backgrounds. But white peony is consistently shown to support the production of progesterone, which is found in a lot of Chinese medicine
Hmm.
combination products. And the FDA has been sticking their nose in people's business as of late that is not beneficial for sensitive people
Yep.
trying to find gentle approaches, you know.
True.
And so I'm just seeing a lot of movement in the products. So I wish I could recommend a
Mm.
product specifically, but the ones that are my go-tos are not currently available.
Right.
But if you look for that specific herb,
Hmm.
you will probably find something that can support progesterone and therefore support sleep. So
Great.
that's really, really important. So the things you already know, sleep hygiene, protecting your schedule, giving yourself more downtime in that transition
Hmm.
period. Cortisol management is also really important. That was one of the other
Mm-hmm.
hormones because the adrenals are an endocrine gland that produce cortisol. And so in the
Hmm.
family of organs that produce hormones, these glands are not going to be really stressed. And that is particularly relevant for sensitive people because we already have over functioning adrenals because we are constantly discerning between all of that information that we're perceiving. Is this
Right.
safe? Is this not safe? And every time that your body asks that question, there's a little bit of a spurt of cortisol. And
Okay.
cortisol determines our wake and sleep patterns, our circadian
Mm-hmm.
rhythm. And so if we're having these random spikes of cortisol, which can happen during perimenopause, it'll cause random wakings in the middle of the night. It will cause blood sugar crashes or blood sugar spikes that can also wake us up. So there are specialty tests for that that can be helpful if you're suspecting that might be the case.
Mm-hmm.
But phosphatidylserine is a supplement that can help to reduce cortisol and support sleep at bedtime. Again,
Great.
be very, very careful when you're supplementing these things. Talk it over
Mm-hmm.
with a provider because
Yep.
who's really listening and collaborating with you. Because if that's not the case, and then you drop your cortisol even more, that's going to lead to other problems. So,
Right. So you don't want to tank it. You want to make sure you're
mm,
supplementing responsibly.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yep.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So protecting the sleep is number one because that's where we get the majority of our resource and
Mm-hmm.
how we can feel our most resilient. I
Yes.
really like teas. We kind of touched on how sometimes
Mm-hmm.
herbs can be really helpful and supporting detoxification through teas can be an easy way. Traditional medicinals is one of my favorite
I love
brands.
them. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're a wonderful company. I have actually a colleague who works for them and does research and development, and
Mm.
they are as great on the inside as they are on the outside, and that's just a wonderful thing in
I
this day
love that.
and
Yeah.
age.
So there's some alignment there.
Yes, yes. So they have
Mm-hmm.
a day, I think it's a daily detox tea or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That especially PMS, during the times of irritability, during times of overstimulation, supporting detoxification can really help to lower the total burden that we're carrying.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're kind of clearing things out. So, well, the estrogen piece was eye-opening. Like, yes, you do need to make sure you're clearing things out and making more internal resources available.
Yes.
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 Okay.
And magnesium falls into that same category. Actually, it's very helpful for detoxification. It also helps to reduce cortisol in a much more gentle way.
Hmm.
So that's why sometimes you'll hear about dosing magnesium at bedtime because it will
Yeah.
help to reduce cortisol, which then
Okay.
signals the body to produce more melatonin, because cortisol and
Okay.
melatonin have an inverse
That
relationship.
makes sense.
Mhm.
A lot of things clicking into place for me today.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about you, but when I really understand a pathway or I
Hmm.
understand um, why something works, it makes all the difference. It just
Oh, it
it
helps.
can more easily become a part of my routine versus feeling like I have to remember or force it to happen.
Absolutely. Having that context for me, I have more buy-in.
Yes,
Hmm.
yes, absolutely. Hydration is a natural part of detoxification. So, um, you know, finding the right type of electrolyte for you, which I'm very particular about, the type of ratios that sensitive people really thrive with, uh,
Mm.
in their electrolytes, but finding the one that feels good to you and consuming the right amount of water because anytime you clean anything, water is almost always sometimes the only thing that you need, right? And
Right.
so making sure that that water is getting into the cells and cleaning things
Hmm.
out will be really helpful for supporting energy and
Hmm.
balancing hormones in a really gentle way.
Yeah, I think we talked about that too in the conversation of burnout, which makes sense because we're kind of gathering resources.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah. One thing to note about sleep support is more isn't always better. I think I'm preaching to the choir here because as sensitive people, we learn that
We need
long.
to hear it though.
Yeah, it
Yep.
is helpful because we can feel desperate, right? To like, I need to get some
Exactly.
sleep. This is not okay. But I see it probably more consistently with sleep is if we do too much in terms of
Mm.
supplements, sometimes that can be overstimulating to our sensitive physiology, and
True.
then it has the opposite effect. It's very
Mm.
counterproductive.
Hmm. So
So
being
just keep
mindful
in
about
mind.
how much you're putting into your
Mhm.
system. Hmm.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. I really like to rotate things that work, but doing too much can sometimes do more harm than good.
How
We
might
talked a
you
little bit about, oh, sorry, go
know
ahead.
it? I'm just curious, how might you know if you're doing a little bit too much?
I think that you would not sleep well.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
Right.
I
Kind
think
of
it'd
stirring
be
things up.
immediate
Mhm.
response,
Yep.
immediately no. But yeah, if you're waking, having slept pretty thoroughly throughout the whole night, with
Hmm.
minimal disruption, and you wake up feeling decent energy where it's not really difficult to get out of bed, then that sounds like it's working.
Yeah.
And it's possible that you may still want to cycle through different interventions because
Right.
sensitive people tend to become, it's not necessarily a tolerance, but I
Hmm.
just find that my body loves variety. And the more that I keep, just shifting the things that I'm doing,
Hmm.
my body seems to remain responsive to those
Hmm.
changes.
That makes sense. Yeah.
We touched briefly on GABA,
Yes.
so that's
Hmm.
worth mentioning here. There you can find it anywhere. I
Hmm.
really love, and I think I may have mentioned this actually in our burnout chat. 200 milligrams of Zen by Allergy Research. I think I mentioned.
Hmm. I think
I like
so.
it. It's a combination of L-theanine and GABA. Um, I love it. I can't say enough about it. But the thing to consider is when progesterone starts to decrease, so does GABA, and so you're replenishing a deficiency here. So it's almost
Hmm.
like it's a neurotransmitter replacement therapy.
Hmm.
Um, and you don't necessarily need it all the time. It can be used
Hmm.
as needed. You might find if you're really feeling burnt out and raw, then you might want to dose it every single day at a low
Hmm.
amount because it can be too calming. And then, you still
Sure.
have to
Yeah.
do your day. But dosing it daily, you could dose it at bedtime. Some people really love it for sleep support.
Yeah.
And then once you get more of your reserves up, then you can dose it as needed. It doesn't necessarily
Mm.
have to be
Hmm. You can
constant.
shift it depending on what you're needing.
Yep.
Love that.
And the last thing that's coming to mind right now, I'm sure
Hmm.
there's so many things that can be done to find comfort through perimenopause is homeopathic remedies because they're
Mm.
so comprehensive. And I just want to clarify, homeopathic doesn't, it's not interchangeable with naturopathic. So homeopathic remedies are a type of
Yeah.
naturopathic intervention, and they are very energetically based. And so I love this form of treatment
Mm-hmm.
or intervention for sensitive people because it's like speaking our language. We're very much on the energetic plane and noticing
Yeah.
shifts before they manifest physically or tangibly.
Right,
And
exactly.
they're very individual. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the only thing I wanted to say. Just because a remedy worked really well for a friend does not mean that for the same exact symptom, it does not mean that that's going to be the right remedy for you. So don't become discouraged if you're like, oh, well,
Mm.
my friend told me to take sepia or whatever, and it just didn't do anything for me. It just means that it's not
Mm-hmm.
aligned with your presentation of that symptom.
That makes sense. So being open to experimenting a little bit and finding the right match for you. Makes
Yes.
sense too that homeopathics are subtle and we pick up the subtle and our bodies respond to those smaller doses or gentler remedies. So that seems like a really like just a good fit.
Mhm.
And another approach in your toolbox.
Yes. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
It is all
Wonderful.
about having as many tools in the toolbox.
It's true, and just finding the right pathway for you, whether it's hormonal therapy or herbal remedies or diet or homeopathics.
Mhm.
There's or homeopathy. There's so much available, which is
Yeah.
very reassuring and comforting,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah. And how that can shift from one day to another. I mean, I think that's
Yes.
been my life experience as an HSP generally, and it
Mm-hmm.
has not changed in perimenopause.
Right. That's well, at least there's some things that are the same.
Right. Yeah. But one day, one thing works really well, and the next day, something else needs to be put in place. And so
Exactly.
having that variety of what
Mm-hmm.
has worked and cycling through, all of
Mm-hmm.
those different tools.
Yeah, what a masterclass in meeting your needs.
Right.